People are really excited about Anthony Edwards, and some are even comparing him to Michael Jordan. It might sound wild, but there are reasons for it. Kobe was taking moves from MJ's style, so is Edwards doing the same? Let's look into it and see if there's any truth to the hype. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Hoop Vision. Let's dive straight into Ant's story. When people said Anthony Edwards reminded them of Michael Jordan, everyone agreed like, yeah, maybe there's some truth to it. As they talked more, people realized they not only play similarly, but they also look alike. If you compare MJ from his early NBA days, he looks almost the same as Ant. From a business perspective, this could be big for the NBA. Michael was super famous worldwide, and his brand is still huge in sports today. It's no surprise the media saw the marketing potential and started making videos supporting the idea that Edwards is the next Jordan, which might not be a bad thing since they could be onto something. According to the sports analyst Chris Broussard, Michael praised Ant and stated he sees similarities too, which adds weight to the comparisons. Jordan was always tough on himself and his teammates, so his praise means a lot in the basketball world. Chris is respected in NBA circles, so his word is reliable as well, giving us no reasons to doubt the authenticity of the alleged text message from MJ. Michael could have denied it easily, but he didn't, which speaks volumes. And if he were to disagree with everything that's said, he's not the type of person that would be afraid to speak up. This suggests MJ supports the comparison, so saying Ant could be the next him isn't as crazy as it might have sounded at first. If we look at his offense, Edwards' moves remind us of young Michael in the 80s. The context of their situations is similar. Jordan faced Bird and Isaiah, who were powerhouses of the East. Remember KD's Phoenix Suns? Yeah, Edwards turned Phoenix into a desert wasteland. He averaged a cool 31 points a game against them, outscoring both Booker and Durant. This was the same Suns team that after acquiring Bradley Beal was supposed to be the hottest team in the league offensively. We couldn't tell in their series against the T-Wolves, which was a sweep and not a close sweep. Jordan witnessed Bird and Isaiah going at it while they were at their prime. In his fourth year, he lost to the Pistons, which was a really big blow for him. They went on to beat Bird's Celtics and lose to Magic's Lakers in Game 7 of the NBA Finals. If we look at Ant's fourth year, he beat one of the fading legends and could potentially beat the reigning champs as the T-Wolves are up in their series against the Nuggets. He's also getting a chance to prove himself against his peers like Shea, Luka, and Jason Tatum if the Wolves make it to the finals. If that scenario occurs, he'll have defeated 3 generations in one playoff run. The Elders, KD, the Prime Generation, Jokic, and the Young Ones. If he beats Dallas, OKC, or Boston, what helps him in that goal is his tough defense, just like Jordan's. When he decides it's time to step up, you can see him just hunting players on the court. Edwards has that same instinct, making him one of the best guards in the league because that quality hasn't been nurtured by the modern NBA. Just look at Brunson, Halliburton, and other flashy guards. Their defense isn't really their biggest asset for which they make up offensively. But still, offense can only take you so far. And the saying goes, offense wins you games, defense wins you championships. If that's the case, Minnesota is in a good place. Ant can sometimes defend like a haunted man, which is crucial in the playoffs. Speaking of defense, Jordan is one of the few guards to win the Defensive Player of the Year, which is a big achievement considering the advantages bigger guys possess. With Wemby around, it might be hard for guards to win it in this era, but that won't hold back Edwards from chasing players down like a starving wolf. Both Ant and Jordan prove their defensive prowess by who they've had to guard. Jordan faced Bird, Thomas, Magic, Peyton, Miller, and Stockton, while Ant defends Luka, Shea, Murray, Tatum, Curry, and many other top scorers. Just to be clear, NBA superstars are almost unstoppable on offense, so slowing them down takes incredible defense plus heart and passion, which Ant has in loads. But reducing their abilities on the other end of the floor to just them would be unfair to their teams. It's not just Ant and MJ. Their teammates are such a big factor too. They had support that boosted their defense and allowed them to trap players. Jordan had Pippen and Rodman, both of whom were crucial for his success. And Ant has KAT, Rudy, Reed, and especially Mike Conley, who's guiding the young Wolves and playing with that dad energy. Talking about dad energy, there's one player often compared to MJ, but many deny the resemblance. LeBron has been the league's face for ages, but whenever someone talks about the GOAT, Michael's name pops up defending that #1 spot like it's the 87 and 88 season again. Ant has achieved something LeBron hasn't his entire career. He got people calling him the next Michael Jordan, while still being in the earliest stages of his journey. To be fair, people aren't talking about their achievements, just their styles. But still, it has to sting a little. In his fourth year, LeBron dragged that horrible Cavs team to the finals in 07, which some overlook when criticizing his finals record. Nobody on that Cleveland roster had any business being in the finals. Take LeBron out of that squad and you have a lottery pick team. Jordan's aura is so strong that even with 40,000 points, 4 titles, a 3-1 finals comeback, 4 MVPs, 4 Finals MVPs, and 20 All-Star selections, his throne remains unshaken. There's a strong reason for that, and it has nothing to do with basketball skills, but players' character. The main argument people used to build up MJ and the main complaint about LeBron was leadership. Michael stayed with the Bulls and faced tough times, got eliminated twice in the Eastern Finals by the Pistons, and never went out to form a super team and win easier. He wanted to destroy everyone he lost to and rub it in their faces, which you can't do if you switch teams and join other superstars. By his 7th year, MJ got back at the Pistons and won the Eastern Finals, then took down the Lakers for Chicago's first title. LeBron's 7th year is remembered for losing to Boston and moving to Miami, so when it comes to leadership, Ant passes with flying colors so far. You may say Ant is only in his 4th year, but just by taking a look at him in his current state, you can notice he has all the necessary traits in his DNA. Leading the pack of Wolves seems so natural for him, and winning seems to be the only thing on his mind. Kobe was known for his Mamba mentality, so how should we call this? Wolf mentality? Ant mentality just doesn't seem scary. Ants are actually cool and seem friendly, so we'll leave them alone. The Wolf mentality era seems to be on the rise in the NBA, and Anthony Edwards is leading the charge. The approach he has for the game makes all the difference in the world. Just look at the conferences after Phoenix and Denver games. He doesn't look like he was a rookie 3 years ago, but a 10-year veteran. When Minnesota drafted him, KAT was expected to do what Ant is doing right now. We now see he's more comfortable being the Robin to his Batman, which is totally fine given how balanced and organized this team is. Everything seems to be clicking for them, and regardless of how far they go this year, these playoffs will be a changing moment for the franchise who served as a punching bag for almost 2 decades. There are still plenty of challenges for them, and the Nuggets should not be underestimated, especially now. Ant showed his skills in the first 2 games against Denver, making all sorts of shots and playing phenomenal defense. Some of his moves were so much like Jordan's that the media talk starts to make sense. He pulled off some drives just like Mike's, and those fadeaway shots after taking hits from defenders speak for themselves. If nothing changes in Game 3 and 4, the Nuggets will have a hard time, especially with Minnesota's home crowd behind them. Just think about the exciting moments from the first 2 games and imagine that happening with the crowd going wild. If Ant keeps up that energy for 2 more games, the series is over. If the Wolves make it to the conference finals, their matchup against either OKC or Dallas will be epic. It's harder to imagine a more intense series than those potential two. If somehow Edwards leads his team to their first trip to the NBA Finals, he'll be a hero in Minnesota. They've made some bad draft choices before, but picking him in 2020 was the best move for their organization ever. Signing him after his rookie contract was a no-brainer too, so Ant will be a Wolf for a while. It might sound unbelievable, but he'll only be 28 when his current contract ends. Minnesota could become a Western powerhouse in the next few years, especially if they win it all this season. Who's to say they couldn't win more titles in the future with their newfound confidence? However, this might be too much to process at once. Putting all this pressure on a 22-year-old could be a lot, but good thing is he's handling it well and owning every moment of it. Back in the early 80s, if someone was to say Chicago drafted the greatest player of all time, people might have been skeptical to go that far just as much as we are right now. How cool would it be if Minnesota won 6 titles and achieved 2 three-peats? It sounds wild, but that's what the Bulls did, and they went from never being in the NBA Finals to becoming one of the most influential teams in all sports. If we know one thing about history, it's that it likes repeating itself. So let's just sit back and enjoy watching Ant do what he does best. He'll have plenty of years to show us his true potential and build his legacy one season at a time. That's it for today, dear friends. We hope you've enjoyed this video. Let us know in the comments below, who do you think will play in the finals this year? And what chances do you give to the Wolves of winning this season? Thank you for watching and growing this channel. Make sure you don't miss out on more NBA stories by hitting that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one.